love Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
That's right, everybody. This is State of My Sports, and this is episode 140, a Monday edition. We're watching the Rams game. It means a little bit to the Lions. I'd rather see them win than it be beneficial Lions, but we'll get into that maybe. We're going to keep the NFL ball rolling and talk about what we saw during Wildcard weekend and what traits we saw in particular that were like, dang, that's what I want in Detroit.
Man, that just looked good right there.
That was good. Well, we're not talking about quarterbacks, though. That's the one stipulation. We can't talk quarterbacks. We're going to discuss the Lions' offseason a bit more in depth with cap space, potential free agents Lions might lose, and how they can fill those needs outside of the draft. We'll have our mock draft 2.0 and catch up on the Pistons and Red Wings. With the Rams and Cardinals game still going on, we will not be making our picks of the week. We'll do that off air, but we will grade our Michigan beer, which is from Hartland Brewing Co. Shout out to Aaron Reed. Thank you for this opportunity. If you're joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, please let us know in the comments. Be part of the conversation. We got John working back there. He's monitoring the comments, so if it's good enough, he'll read it. So
are you distracted yet? With the TV on.
I'm doing my best to
watching
not
Stafford
get
drive
out of
down the
breath.
field.
I'm trying not to cough. That's kind of why I'm talking so slow.
Okay.
Trying to keep my breath here.
Oh, got it.
Before we jump in,
His man's already out of breath.
I did want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that help keep this thing rolling and free for our listeners. The Hop Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports. Mac Web Design helped us get our website up and running. BettingHero.com helps us and you get the best promotions available in the sports betting world. I am Sam Walthart. With me today we got Ryan Walthart.
Hello.
Micah Smith.
What's up?
And John Dornboss. But his mic is down.
Johnny.
He's here.
Come on, give him a break. He took some time off. Right?
No, I get it. I get
Rusty.
it. He's the one controlling the board. It seems like he would know how to turn his mic on. Anyways, I wanted to jump right into some football talk. I know. I think we know everybody had good weekends, and we don't really need to talk about it a whole lot, do we?
Touchdown.
Does anybody really care about our weekend?
That's probably the least popular part of the podcast usually.
Yeah, I agree. Most people skip it.
Yeah, I skip it. Every time I listen, I just skip right through.
So really, I wanted to get the ball rolling with the NFL conversation. Which, I mean, by the way, the NFL did it perfect this weekend with the Saturday games, Sunday, and now you got a Monday. Like 3 games to watch, or 3 days to watch football. Just packed full of football. It was awesome.
I think what I took away from it is the Detroit Lions curse, or the NFL hating Detroit Lions again, because if the Rams lose this game against the Cardinals, the draft order depends on the order that they lose.
Oh, does it really?
So if they would have played the Saturday game, the Lions could have gotten a 19th overall pick, I believe it was. But because they waited until the Monday game to play the Rams, then the earliest they could go is like 23 or 24.
Is that really how it works?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Oh,
That's how they did it.
That ticks me off.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
That's what I'm saying. And they did it for the Lions.
Man.
They did
that
exactly
makes sense.
to mess with the Lions' first round pick.
I feel like there's something to talk about in every single one of these games. And I don't want to get too in depth, but kind of the traits that we're looking at. And that's what I want this conversation to turn into, is what were some specific traits that we saw in these games that were like, that's what I want in Detroit. Outside of a quarterback. Obviously, everybody wants a starting quarterback, a legit elite quarterback. But let's talk about the Bengals and Raiders game. Before we get into like the traits that I thought stood out to me, I want to talk about that whistle. Were you guys watching that game?
What happened?
So they thought, was it Joe Burrow is going to make a pass. It looks like he's run out of bounds. He obviously wasn't during replay, but there was a whistle when the ball was in the air. And then they just kind of like looked both ways and like, yeah, it was touchdown. And like the defender stopped. And it was like,
did he stop?
He did stop, but it was such a small like time. Like I don't understand if it really affected it.
Yeah, because the guy chasing him stopped. Right, that's what they claimed. But it's as his throwing motion is going on. Like I don't think it impacted anything.
I don't think it impacted anything necessarily, but man, that's the bad call. And you're supposed to replay the down. I didn't know the rule. I didn't know what they were supposed to do exactly, but they talked about it after the fact, and they were supposed to just replay the down because it was an errant whistle. And that just was like something that I thought the Lions would just get screwed on.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the Raiders. They absolutely got screwed on that. That was a third down play. They had another chance to stop it. And it's just it's crazy that playoff-ready refs didn't know that rule and blew it that badly.
Yeah.
It was
pretty bad.
insane.
Oh, absolutely.
Inside that Raiders-Bengals matchup, and I think that those were two different teams because, I mean, the Bengals are obviously high-flying offense, and I think elite wide receivers to go with an elite quarterback is kind of stands out to me there. The Jamar Chase experiment worked out perfect for them.
Yep.
The opt-outs, man, are just some of the opt-outs were some of the best players in the league this year.
Oh, yeah.
Jamar Chase, Micah Parsons, Penei Sewell, guys that we were like, do we really want to take them after an opt-out?
Seem pretty fresh, healthy, and ready to go,
I'm wondering if that's going to change the perspective on a lot of these guys. And these guys might be taking their mandatory last year off if they're already set up to be drafted. Like,
I mean, Nick Bosa kind of started that trend. He didn't feel like
he did.
He didn't feel like he needed to prove anything, and they were making life hard on him. So he's like, "Screw it, I'm going to be a top pick either way." So
yeah, and then I mean, I think the Bills had a better offense. So going to the Bills-Patriots game, the Bills won 47-17. Man, that just the dynamic play of that offense is so incredible.
I think you saw execution. They were ready for the moment. The Patriots, Bill Belichick gets so much credit for scheming against the other team's weakness and taking away what they do best, and he had no chance in this one. The players on the field executed, and in the end, they might have great cornerbacks, but the Bills did everything according to plan, and there was no chance. So coaching is great. Coaching might get you to the playoffs, but in the end, you really need those generational type of, maybe not even generational. You just need a type of attitude of the players on the field that can get it done.
Yep. And then getting down to the Tampa Bay Eagles game, Tampa Bay won 31-15. Very weird game. Nothing really stood out. Obviously, when you have Tom Brady, you're going to dominate a game like that. The Eagles are bad.
Yeah, that's told me that the Eagles aren't very good.
And and I mean, I just don't trust Jalen Hurts. If he were my quarterback, I wouldn't trust him. Same thing with Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, those type of quarterbacks that. No, not those type of quarterbacks because I like Josh Allen. So it's like, well, geez, I didn't. But like, I guess quarterbacks that I don't trust.
And Tom Brady,
long term. Like just because I don't know, when they run too much, I think that they rely on that way too often.
Yeah,
and I think they just get hurt by that.
Well, Hurts is a different story. It's not like Hurts is a first overall pick.
True. Yeah, he's different than a Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, I think, has better arm talent for sure than Jalen Hurts. I think that's proven. But I guess I'm just looking at it as like a run-first offense with a quarterback leading the way as your runner. That's what I'm saying. Like you rely that heavily on your running quarterback. That's what I don't believe in. I guess is the way I look at it.
Right, and that was sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Buffalo Bills quarterback
Josh Allen.
So that was Josh Allen's first 3 years in the league. Is run first, not be able to throw the ball. He learned the position. He figured it out. Everything clicked. I think the difference is, to me, you got to look at their throwing motion. You got to see like what are the downfalls. If you have a long throwing motion like Jalen Hurts has, it's not going to be repeatable. It's not going to be. Yeah. You can get away with that in college because your athletes are so open compared to the other athletes on the other side of the ball. You don't get that in the pros. Yeah. So you can be. What this tells me is the Eagles are going to be in no man's land for a long time.
If they're going to hitch their wagon to Jalen Hurts, I think they're in tough shape.
Yeah, they're always going to win too many games to
and
restart.
Going back to Josh Allen, he even sometimes throughout this year, I think would be too fast to run, and he wouldn't trust his arm, and he wouldn't so I think all of these guys that know how to run rely on it, whether
But again, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, those guys, like if
they figured it out.
The difference is when they pass, it's repeatable. Their motion allows them to be that. They've got big arms. Like there's a difference. There's a style what you're picking up on. It definitely makes sense to me.
Yeah, 49ers upset Dallas 23-17 in Dallas. That was a crazy game. Crazy ending.
Actually, Dallas upset Dallas.
Sorry, did I say that wrong?
Yeah.
Gosh.
For sure.
49ers upset Dallas. John's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long day. You all right over there, John?
Oh, we're good.
All right.
All set.
Yeah, so
yeah,
49ers upset Dallas. So, look, I thought the 49ers shot themselves in the foot time and time. That could have been a blowout, or it was a blowout, really. And Dallas just kind of found their way back in with Garoppolo struggling. He had a fumble and the fumble.
The interception was bad.
The interception was awful. And that really was what changed the game. But the last play, I think, is what people want to talk about. So Dallas ended up getting the ball back.
Hilarious.
Oh,
and
so bad.
14 seconds left. I don't know where they were in the 50-yard line-ish.
Closer than that.
Yeah, I don't even think they were. I think they were at the 40.
Yeah.
And then Dak does a QB sneak. Obviously a play call. That's what the play call was.
13
and he
seconds
ran
left, right?
Yeah, he ran it, 30 yards maybe?
No.
25, 30?
He got to the 25-yard line. I'm somewhere around there. 27,
okay, so
28.
20, 25 yards run and ran the clock out, basically.
The ref just crashes through the line.
The way that look, okay. I kind of understood the play call if you are smart enough to go 5 yards less.
It's such a dumb play call.
I disagree with that because I understand the thinking behind
what's the
make
thinking?
it a little closer.
Explain,
to make it an easier
route.
route. It's not a Hail Mary and just like a throw into a group and hope our guy gets it anymore. It is now we're running routes. We're making play, basically.
Okay.
A play that we do week in and week out. That's what they were trying to do, is find a play that's in their playbook that they perfect, rather than the throw it up and hope for the best.
My thought process is you have more than one chance in the end zone at that point.
That was an argument that I had against myself was, well, just throw it in the end zone twice, and it's a better play.
Percentage game.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I guess it's not the worst play call. I get where their head was at too, but man, the
execution was wrong.
Yeah, and your entire team has to be on the same page and know that you get to the line right away and you don't leave 1 second.
Yeah.
If that was 1 second, we would have all been saying that was dumb.
Yeah.
Like, they should have had 5 seconds left.
Yeah.
3 seconds left.
Yeah.
That should have been something that if they were planning on that, they prepared for it.
But it came down to the referee touching the ball.
The ref, yeah, and they didn't know that rule. And how funny was it when that ref was pretending try hard to get to that ball? I love when refs are pretend try hard because he was so out of position, and then he's like doing the and like he does the bump like
trying so hard
to get to it. Like it's very difficult to sneak between these humans.
Did you see how he picked the ball up?
Oh my god!
Basically 2 different times and said it twice.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what is he
I thought
doing?
that ref he blew it not just as bad, but he was. I understand why they were mad. Because that ref looked awful.
I would have been livid, yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Again, another Detroit moment, kind of.
Yeah. The story for the 49ers game was I thought the way that they utilized Deebo Samuel, obviously.
He's a weapon, man.
That guy was insane.
I had him on my fantasy team. He was my second leading scorer behind Josh Allen.
The
guy's a beast. Yeah,
that's insane.
Run, catch, and scoring.
See, I don't sit and watch 49ers a lot, if at all. I knew he was having a good year. I didn't know he was having that good of a year.
Dude,
the way that they utilize him is
you can't
so
tackle
innovative.
him like with one defensive back. He doesn't get tackled.
Yeah, the innovation in their offense is so impressive to me. And then the Chiefs Steelers. I don't really want to talk too much about the Chiefs. Won 42-21. Good team against bad team. Don't want to really. I don't know.
Steelers
when you have Mahomes, it is what it is. But
I think 49ers, what this told me overall, 49ers is the team that I think the Lions, if I'm building the Lions organization, that's who I want to model against.
Yeah.
Because you always give yourself a chance with a defense that's as capable as they are, that can dominate the line of scrimmage and get after the quarterback, and then on the offensive side, dominate the line of scrimmage and always have the run game to fall back on.
Yeah.
And even if you get the inconsistent quarterback play with Garoppolo, you can win games. You can win playoff games that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good team that they were up against. Let's not pretend that they're.
I agree. Especially how good that offense can be.
Yeah, they're explosive.
And how mediocre they made them look.
Right. And they have another opt-out guy with Ambry Thomas, by the way, underrated pickup for the 49ers.
Oh, I didn't know he was an opt-out.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He was the one with the game-ending pick a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he did.
He was down. Oh, yeah, you're right. He did.
Ambry Thomas, yeah.
Yeah.
Good year.
So what I really wanted to talk about was what you saw in these games, specific attributes. I feel like we've talked about it a little bit, that you have to be elite at something and just absolutely great at something
To
be successful in the NFL. You either have to have a great quarterback and an offensive game plan, blah, blah, blah. What did you guys see? Brian, you kind of already talked about the 49ers in their, I think, balance in the trenches. You had great on the offensive line, great in the defensive line. I mean, is that really what stood out to you the most? And not necessarily what you want to model after, but like what was that one thing out of all these games that you're like, man, I want that on the Lions, and this is how we're going to get it?
I think it shows both ways. It's either run and defense, or it's an elite quarterback. And the
quarterback is not an option for this conversation.
Well, then to me, it's dominate the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like who? 49ers?
Like the 49ers. I want to get after the quarterback. Nick Bosa goes down, and guess what? They still got after him. They had enough guys. They had enough weapons. They weren't counting on one dominant player to take the quarterback down. They're relentless. They have enough athletes running all over the field. They're fast. You have an offensive line like they have, but then you have the solid defense that will always keep you in games. And then when you're having a bad year, you're allowed to lose some games, but they figured it out. They made the miraculous comeback to make the playoffs, and now they're a weapon in the playoffs. Nobody wanted to play them.
Yeah. There was a couple things that really stood out to me. One, and Micah, if you have something, go for it. Like,
go for
it. You were.
Nope.
John, if you have something that stood out to you, but can I go with my first one?
Yeah, Sam, go with your first two if you'd like.
Sam, what did you take away from this?
All right, an offensive playmaker, and I looked at a Deebo Samuel, and I'm like, that would be so nice to have somebody that you just trust. And you look at like the Rams. Yeah, you have Stafford, and it's a good passing game with a lot of weapons. But Cooper Kupp is that dynamic player that's like, get this guy the ball 8 to 12 times a game, and he's going to make something happen. Deebo Samuel was obviously that. And I feel like the Chiefs have it. Dallas kind of has it too. Maybe not yet. And that might be one of their problems. Like
Dallas.
Somebody that they can't really 100% trust. They have a lot of weapons, but not that one guy. Bills, I feel like, have that with Stephon Diggs and a couple other guys. But I feel like of offensive playmaker, Jamar Chase for the Bengals, like that one big name is what I want. And I don't know if you got to do it in the draft. I don't know if that's the only way to do it. I don't know if Amon-Ra St. Brown can be our Deebo Samuel if we get other pieces around him. I think that's probably unfair to Deebo Samuel and what he is. But, like, that's what I want. Someone that's just get this guy the ball, he'll make a play. We don't have that, in my opinion. So that's the first thing that came to my mind watching these offenses, in particular the 49ers, do what they did.
Well, if you're a playoff team, the whole dynamic is different. So do we have that guy on offense? I don't know. Swift might be that guy. He's never been put in that position to be that guy.
That's true.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, yeah, I mean, he's coming into his own. I think it's unfair to him to compare him to Deebo Samuel because Samuel's a massive human being. He's a beast.
Yep.
But you're right. I mean, I think having a dominant offensive weapon changes the game plan of the defense. It changes the dynamic of where the safety plays over the top. Like you can get a huge advantage that way.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see it because that one really, really good player, that weapon that can beat multiple players, he also opens up the door to make some random guy look good and some random guy be wide open. You know what I mean? They did it all without Kittle, too. Kittle was basically irrelevant in that game for the most part.
Yeah. Well, but that was going to be my other argument, I guess, because Kittle
is Kittle
and
the
Samuel,
guy that's opening Samuel? Maybe?
Well, it's maybe the decision they usually have to try to make. They make defenses. They force them into that decision between Kittle and Samuel.
Yeah.
And then you have your Tyreek Hill and your Kelsey. So having multiple dynamic players really is the key.
And I know it's about balance, and I know it's about building a true team, but I think we're seeing like the way these teams are doing it is they're using their biggest weapon and utilizing it to the fullest. John, sorry, go ahead.
I think it definitely comes down to the draft. I mean, I know we talked about maybe the 49ers and the Lions modeling the future after a team like that, but look no further than the Cincinnati Bengals. They were the bottom of the barrel for a very, very long time. They got guys, Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. These are all young guys that are coming out. I'm way impressed by Jamar Chase and how quick he has just taken over the league. I mean, Justin Jefferson had a huge year last year. Jamar Chase had a better year, his rookie year. And Joe Burrow, I mean, it's just we got to get Goff a weapon like Jamar Chase, that caliber wide receiver for him to work with.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if this is the time to do it. I feel like we're still so many holes away, but it'd be nice to know if that's a missing piece.
Well,
you know?
and it's an interesting exercise to go through because Joe Burrow was the obvious number one. Everybody would have taken him number one that year. So the Lions are not going to be in that position. This is not the draft to do it, and next year may not be much different. So they kind of fell into that, but they put Burrow into a place where their team was on their way to being ready when he arrived, and then he was hurt, and then they got an amazing playmaker. I mean, I am first to admit that I was completely wrong about Jamar Chase. He blew my expectations away. And now you add him to that like teammate chemistry they had at LSU, and now Burrow's got his guy, and he's an extremely talented quarterback that makes great decisions, or he can process a lot of information as he goes. And I think their entire organization changed with 3 consecutive drafts.
Yeah,
and they hit on him.
Yeah, because Mixon, I think he rushed over 1,000 yards this year too, and he's been one of those guys that just hasn't broken out. You know, he gets a lot of carries, doesn't get a lot of yards. This year he was able to balance and help that offense balance. But they're still saying that Joe Burrow has the worst offensive line in the NFL right now. Man. And he's doing that, and Joe Mixon is doing that, and Jamar Chase is doing that. And
it's crazy.
I think the Lions could make a significant change and maybe see a playoff appearance here in the next 2 years if they can do something similar with their
I think they will next year. I think they're going to win the division and do it next year. But one more thing that stood out to me, and this might be a little controversial because I've been pretty high on Campbell.
It doesn't have anything to do with flags, does it?
Nothing to do with flags. Nothing to do with flags yet. But one was the innovative offensive play calling. And look, I think Dan Campbell grew a lot as a play caller. I thought. And I think he's innovative, too, because, I mean, he's going for it on fourth downs. He's more than anybody. The fake punts and stuff. I mean, he's very, very aggressive. But what I mean by innovative is innovative because he wants to be, not because he feels like he has to be, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like Dan Campbell, he's like, I am forced to go for it here and do a random, like I'm 3rd and 12 and I'm doing a draw because, like, that's not innovative. This is what I have to do. And 4th and 2, I have to go for it because otherwise we're going to punt the ball and get scored on. I have to do this and this and this. It's not necessarily innovative like a Shanahan and like a Reed and what these other guys are in this offense. I want a truly innovative, creative play caller. And I don't know if Ben Johnson is that guy. I have no idea. I don't know if Dan Campbell can be that guy, but I want that. And Matt LaFleur is another one. The innovative play caller that's also a head coach, and just like that is what I think the Lions will need eventually. I don't think we need it right now, but we better figure that out before it's too late, if that makes sense.
And in last week's episode, we talked about Dan Campbell playing, taking over the play calling, and that was something that he grew into, and it looked a lot different than his first couple of weeks he was there compared to later on. Now that he knows what he wants out of a play caller because he did it, he has that experience, he kind of grew into it, I don't think he's going to hold on to that role. I think he's going to look for the right person to fill what he wants. And I think that's the smartest way to do it, and I believe he's going to do that because he didn't become a coach to be an X's and O's guy.
Yeah.
He told us that.
Yep.
So I think now he knows who he wants to have in that role. We know he's aggressive. We know he likes the creativity and trick plays, and they try to get a lot of that stuff out there. And we know the last thing, what he proved to us last year, or what he told us in his press conferences, is he always wants to have an advantage. He wants to put his best player in the best position possible and create mismatch.
Yeah.
On the field. So that's what LaFleur does so well. They move all the time. They're constantly showing the defense's hand so Aaron Rodgers can scan the field and know exactly what's going on, and then know the mismatch before the play even starts. And that's what Dan Campbell's trying to do. I don't think they're going to get there with him being the play caller, but I think him taking it over was the perfect way to get there in the end.
No, that's fair. What we're drinking tonight. So, shout out to Aaron Reed, buddy of ours. We had played high school hockey with him. Mike and I did. Ryan, did you play any sports with Aaron? Maybe like football when you guys were younger?
Yeah, growing up we played football. I think like 8th grade might have been the first time we
but you guys graduated together, right?
We graduated together, yeah.
Nice. So what Aaron is he's the brewmaster. Is that the right? I don't know if
brewmaster
head brewer or head brewer.
One of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. I don't know the difference, but he provided us a couple growlers. I'm really struggling. Help me out here. Somebody jump in. Growlers,
these are growlers.
From Hartland. Mikey, can you tell us what we're sipping on right now? The clear one.
Yeah, right now is that one. The Hartland Census. I think I'm saying it right. Census. It's SENSUOUS.
Okay.
So this is their Census Kolsch. And I asked him to reiterate to me how he named this beer because I thought it was really quite witty of him. He says, it's what you call out when someone else is getting up from the fire and you want them to get you a beer. Since you was up, get me a beer.
Since you was up.
So he had fun naming that one.
That's good.
I don't know the actual chemical makeup or the what's in this beer exactly, but it is a German-style Kolsch beer, and that's what you guys are drinking right now.
All right, and then later on, we're going to drink this one that says PB on it. I'm assuming that's some kind of peanut butter?
Yeah.
What is this one?
That one is their Persistence Peanut Butter Porter. So this peanut butter porter is a deep brown brew. It has roasty flavors of chocolate and caramel. It's infused with allergy-free peanut butter and has a moderate amount of American and English hops for balance. The peanut butter flavored porter is inspired by our friends at Pro Billiards. Shout out to them.
Wow, shout out to you for not mixing any of those up.
That was well done. You should do all of the reads for every single topic.
Man, actually, that porter sounds great, though.
We are getting into the main topic. So do one of you guys want to do the read for the main topic real quick? Ryan?
For the main topic? Where are we at?
It's right at the bottom of the page there.
Before we get into the main topic?
Before we get into the main topic of episode 140.
All right, I'll start there. Before we get into the main topic of episode 140, I want to remind everyone that DeHops Brewing Company Cafe is open and pouring some of the best craft beer in West Michigan. Their revamped food menu, rotating taps, wine, and ciders make DeHops perfect for whatever you have going on, from dinner with the family, late night drinks with friends, and everything in between. DeHops is becoming a staple in the West Michigan restaurant community that we highly recommend to our friends and listeners. Taco Tuesday is back at DeHops, which is we'll be hitting up pretty much once a month, guaranteed, and probably more just because it's that good. Taco Tuesday consists of any taco for $2.50. That's right, $2.50, and you can pair it up with their margarita seltzer for only $3. DeHops is the official brewery of State of My Sports, and if you mention State of My Sports, you'll get a nice little discount on your first beer.
Thank you for doing that. I had zero chance of getting through that read without coughing.
Good job, Ryan.
I'm just really short of breath right now, and I don't know what's going on.
Mike and I are just going to take this thing over.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically where we're at now. And this is kind of give. I don't know.
This is going to be weird territory for you, right?
So usually I try to set it up and then set myself up and then kind of go from there. But what I'm going to do is try to set you up blindly, if that works, Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're kind of take over here.
Yeah, go for it.
So last week we talked a lot about the positives of what we saw out of the Lions. You know, the development in the season of development. Now, the unfortunate part of this season of development is a lot of the players that we saw developing are guys that we have to make a decision on.
Yeah.
With free agency or new contracts, all of that goofy stuff that, when you're developing, you should already have these guys locked up. But when you have, the regime that we've had, you're kind of cutting bait with everybody and starting from scratch. So, Ryan, you kind of came up with a list with some of the expiring deals, if I'm correct. and what it's doing with our cap space, who's worth holding on to, who's not. So I'm going to let you take it from
here.
I
think we're going to take the next 3.5 hours to go through each one of these players and give a player profile breakdown.
You wake me up when it's done.
Okay.
I'll be right over there.
I thought we were doing 5 hours. I'm confused now.
You're confused. Like, why don't we have more? Let's start with the unrestricted free agents. These are a lot of the guys that we signed to one-year deals last year. We'll start off with linebacker Alex Anzalone. He had 70 tackles on the year, 1 sack, an interception, 7 pass deflections, which I thought was pretty interesting. He started 14 games for us, and I think he really did a good job for being that steady, reliable linebacking source in the middle of the field. I'm not going to say he was great, not a Pro Bowler by any means, but he had some speed.
Yep.
What'd you think?
I think what he does is more than numbers. Like you said the numbers, and it wasn't pretty. He doesn't stand out other than his long yellow hair. That stands out a little bit. But, he doesn't stand out. And what the Lions need is a true blue playmaking linebacker. We don't have that. Are we going to get that this year? If not, bring him back, in my opinion. If we need to fill somebody that Dan Campbell can trust, that can go out there and do the job and help Derek Barnes continue to learn and all those things, he seems like a good bring-back guy.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be very expensive if we want to bring him back. It comes down to whether he's the right guy in the locker room. I got the intent or the feeling that he was that guy.
Yeah.
Because they brought him in the first place, and he had experience with him in New Orleans.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that kind of stood out to me as a guy that I think will know what their plan is in the draft. Like their draft versus free agency balance is going to be a lot of these, whether they invest in these guys.
Yeah, what he feels to me like is a cheap placeholder that might not make the team even if we sign him for a new contract.
I think he'd make the team
if we fill the need.
Yeah, I think he'd make the team, but probably a 1 maximum 2-year guy.
Okay,
for contracts.
That's fair.
Another guy, Tim Boyle. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back as quarterback just because he'll be cheap and familiar with the offense and can be part of the practice squad.
Is Blau expiring, or how does that all go down?
David Blau is a restricted free agent, but I think we saw Blau, the battle between Tim Boyle and Blau, I think we saw that play out and Boyle won. That's the way I'm interpreting this.
Even though we didn't see why.
Yeah, we really didn't.
It's really weird.
Blau looked better in the preseason for sure.
And look, I don't want to get into the backup quarterback argument here or anything like that. Look, I'm not going to say Blau is better than Boyle or Boyle's better than Blau. That's not for me to worry about. But if Boyle was that much better than Blau that you wouldn't even give Blau the sniff and you waited for Boyle to get healthy to give somebody else a chance, that tells me why in the world, or that makes me question why in the world is Blau even on this roster? Because, look, I know you got to have a backup quarterback, but at that point, get rid of him once Boyle's healthy. You can pull up any Joe Blow on the street as your backup quarterback, third-string quarterback. It just seems like a waste of a roster spot, in my opinion. But
yeah, it just wouldn't surprise me if he comes back on.
I want it to be one or the
deal.
other. Basically, is where I'm at with that.
Yep, get rid of one of them. Absolutely. Tyrell Crosby. What an interesting guy. He actually ended up being on injured reserve pretty much the whole year, and they cut him at the beginning of the season. They actually chose some other lineman instead of him, and we were thinking he was going to be like the sixth man, like the first guy off the bench.
Yeah.
But Tyrell Crosby was an interesting guy who was a restricted free agent going into next year.
Okay.
I don't think he's coming back. I think the writing was on the wall preseason when they cut him unexpectedly.
Yeah. Yep.
Moving along, Charles Harris, big name.
He had a very Aquara-esque season.
Absolutely. That's a great way of describing it.
Great timing for the best season of his career.
Yep.
Now we just got to make that decision, right?
Look,
where do you feel about it?
Yeah, he's a former first-round pick, so the talent was always there, and he really had a cannot quit, don't quit type of attitude that I think Dan Campbell loves. The question is going to be whether Brad Holmes wants to invest in him right now. Where and when does this investment actually happen? And if they're planning on going one of the top 2 edge rushers in the draft, then does that change their decision on Charles Harris? I think he's definitely a Detroiter type of guy. He fits the mold, but I don't know based on the money because open market, you're seeing 12 million a year contract right now.
Which seems hefty for the amount of holes that we have. When we already have the other Aquaras, the potential first-round pick.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Flowers is going to be a cut casualty. We don't need to get into that today.
Yeah, that
but
could be
I also don't think that's
cap.
I don't think he's there is that space for him. You want 4, right? 3 or 4. So if Flowers is that cut casualty, then that opens the door for a Charles Harris.
Yeah, the thing you like about Charles Harris is the production. He did have 7.5 sacks. We saw the QB pressures, 2 forced fumbles. He was a difference maker in some of those games.
Yeah,
and he was on the field a lot.
Yep. What the Lions need to realize and understand, but better than us, is he collecting the stats because somebody has to collect the stats, or is he actually a player that can be there if and when you need him?
Yeah.
Look, I think he's the type of player that, in my opinion, he looks good on this type of team. But is this the type of team that we want? No, we want the 49ers. We want the guys that's just a revolving door stud no matter what. So I could go either way on it, but I think time will tell.
Yeah.
Really see how the draft goes. That's really the key there. And there's also going to be some free agents that might be worth spending a little bit more on.
There really might
to
be.
really upgrade. But
Kadarrell Hodge, another one. I think he's not going to come back. He was an experimental signing. He was what some of these guys ended up. I think we can get the same level of production from Trinity Benson, who we already have signed.
Yeah,
he just didn't add a lot. 13 catches for the year.
He was the one from
yards.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay.
So long body and everything, but more of a special teams guy, and I don't expect him to come back. Dean Marlowe is an interesting one. Safety. Got a lot of time later on in the year playing opposite Tracy Walker when Harris moved to cornerback.
Okay.
And I think Dean Marlowe actually played really well, and he hits guys pretty hard, like harder than I expected him to. This is his 6th season, or he just finished his 6th season, and really this was his best season that he's had.
Was he a Lions draft pick, or was he a signing by this regime?
Signing, and that's I think that I'm not 100% on that.
For some reason, it rings a bell that it was a signing.
Did he come from the Patriots?
That's what I was thinking, and it was actually last year that we brought him in, right?
Yeah, I think so. He just didn't have a lot of time before this year on the field.
I think that's how it was. We could be wrong on it, but
that's what I'm remembering too. Next one, very interesting, Khalif Raymond. These are one of the guys that I think the coaching staff and Brad Holmes is just really proud of. Like the fact that they invested in him, they wanted to see what he could bring, and he was not even a lock to make the team to start the year, but he ended up being one of our most productive receivers with 48 catches, 576 yards, 4 touchdowns. And not only that, but he was our punt returner, kick returner, overall kind of our dynamic like a gadget type of player out of the backfield or out wide.
Yeah, so real quick, let's talk about the just what the wide receiver is going to look like.
Yeah,
and then see if he still fits, if you have that in front of you. So obviously, I think Trinity Benson will get a sniff before a guy like Raymond, if we're talking about numbers here, because they invested in with a 5th round pick. I could be wrong on they might be well away with just cutting that.
I
doubt
it. I think it's the other way around. I think Khalif Raymond did enough to be on the field, be reliable, and be part of this offense long term.
St. Brown, obviously the better player, gonna make this team. What Quintez Cephas showed, like I've been a big anti Quintez Cephas guy. I think he looked very unathletic this first year and a half. What he did a little bit at the beginning of the year before he was injured, he was really good.
Yeah.
And really good on a bad team, I get that. But he showed signs of why you give him another chance. And I think you got to make a decision on him here. It's got to be this year. He's got to, you know what I mean? Like, he's got to work out.
Well, this is the receiving room right now. Under contract, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Quintez Cephas, Trinity Benson, and Javon McKinley. Those are the 4 wide receivers they have on contract right now.
Okay. So the other guy that's expiring is Josh Reynolds.
Unrestricted free agents are Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, and Kadarrell Hodge.
Okay. I think Hodge, I agree with you there that he's basically gone. Like,
yeah, I don't expect him to come back.
It didn't seem to fit.
Nope.
I feel like Raymond was kind of the Hodge replacement, right?
Yeah, so if you guys, let's just say Trinity Benson fills that 4th or 5th receiver type, Josh Reynolds could be a guy that we want to come back. Khalif Raymond could be a guy we want to come back.
I think this offense changed when Josh Reynolds joined it.
I agree. I think the dynamic allowed Amon-Ra St. Brown to stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, because they had to worry about a offensive or a wide receiver built guy.
Yeah.
And somebody that Goff already trusted, and I thought that was important.
But what we saw production out of St. Brown, Cephas, Josh Reynolds, and Khalif Raymond. We saw production from all of those guys. If we add one more in the draft, just one.
Yeah.
Then
we're going to address it in the draft.
Then I think and then having Trinity Benson as a backup option and Javon McKinley as a backup option, I think our wide receiver room is set. So in my mind, with the draft, one wide receiver at minimum is an absolute need, but you could leave it at one and not invest everything else in your defense.
Yeah. I also wouldn't hate taking two and upgrading even more. But
yeah, it's more of need at that point.
Yeah,
though.
yep.
Another one. Sorry, I'm kind of going through here. Unrestricted would be Jalen Reeves-Maben, big name that this to me. Let's just talk about the two of these guys, Jalen Reeves-Maben and Tracy Walker.
Okay.
Linebacker, safety, both of them were really the anchors in making the tackles later on in the year. Jalen Reeves-Maben came in the middle of the year, and he was hurt in the middle and early part of the season, but, man, he was a rock-solid defender for us at linebacker.
Yeah.
In my mind.
I think I look at Reeves-Maben as similar to Quintez Cephas, where it was like he doesn't belong. He doesn't look like he will be on a good NFL roster. And then this year happened, and it was like, yeah, he was good on a bad roster. He looked good on a bad roster, but there was something different about him. There was something. There was a confidence. There was a speed. He was able to use the speed.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key with him. Is he's supposed to be fast, hard hitting. He wasn't able to do that in his first 2 years, I think it was, maybe 3. And something clicked this year, and he was confident to be able to use that speed and hard hitting ability with confidence and just play the game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was eye-opening to me. Now, what is he going to cost, I think is important, because I don't want to, like, going back to the Anzalone thing, it's like, how much are you willing to spend? Can you upgrade by spending a little more? I think that's a possibility. I don't know a name, though, either. So that's where it's just got to trust, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
And they know better than we do.
Yeah.
Because they're also on the practice field and in the locker room and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Reeves-Maben was the signal caller on our defense for a long time this year. Tracy Walker, the other one, let's just get in real quick.
Yeah.
He's so big for this defense. I think he flew all over the field. That's what we saw when we were live. He was all over the field making tackles. Obviously had a great game with 14 of them, but more than that, I think Tracy Walker, we saw him develop into his own identity this year under this defensive style of play. And I think he really came into his own. He started trusting himself more, and instead of giving up those big plays, he was more the rock-solid guy that wouldn't give up the big play. He might give up something underneath, but he was making the tackle. He was not. Yeah, I think with a good defensive around him, if he can trust everybody around him, and the cornerbacks are there to also make tackles, I think that'll just enable Tracy Walker to play even more free and even more trusting of his teammates and make that much bigger of a difference.
No, I think
it's important. I think it's important to bring back Reeves-Maben and Tracy Walker. Last guy, Nick Williams. Interesting.
We wanted him to work.
I think he kind of worked, just maybe not what we were hoping. We didn't get the Chicago version of Nick Williams.
I feel like he's one that you just let go if you believe in what you drafted last year. Interior lineman, right?
Yeah.
And you have to have. I mean, I cannot say that. Onwuzurike?
Yep, Onwuzurike.
And Elaine McNeil. Elaine McNeil
and Onwuzurike, yeah.
Look, you spent a second-round pick and a third-round pick on these guys. Now, if it comes down to cutting a second-round pick or a third-round pick or re-signing Nick Williams, take a chance on your pick and double down on that and let this guy walk. That's where I look at it.
Yeah. Well, John Pennicini fills a gap in there. He's a good run defensive player. I actually think he gets after the quarterback pretty well. I think he's underrated.
I thought the game against the Packers was his best game of the year, too.
Yeah, he really showed out. Michael Brocker's also rock solid. So it's not like this group is
he seems expendable.
Undermanned. This is one that you could probably walk away from,
unfortunately,
and feel a little bad about. He's
love
good.
the guy.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch him during warm-ups, the dude is massive.
Yeah.
He's so
he's
big.
Huge.
But yeah, Nick
very
Williams,
good on Instagram too. He always posts like scriptures of the day and stuff like that, and like what he learns in his personal Bible study and stuff, which is pretty cool. I like that kind of stuff.
So restricted free agents, I'll go really fast through these. Evan Brown, I think, is one that stood out. Center, he really played well.
He did, yeah.
In the absence of
give it just one of the Ragnow.
Yeah, Frank Ragnow. When Ragnow went down, we thought this offensive line was screwed and we were going to get exposed, and Evan Brown stepped in and did a great job.
Yep.
So I think they're going to keep him just for that depth pick right there.
He can probably play some guard too.
Yeah, tackle Will Holden could still be on this team next year. C.J. Moore, safety. I think he actually played really well down the stretch and had that interception in the Packers game.
Yep.
C.J. Moore did. Interesting to see him. Josh Woods, I think he's expendable. And then we have exclusive rights free agents with guys like Rashad Berry, outside linebacker, safety Jalen Elliott. I don't really expect a lot of these guys. Jack Fox, we'll bring him back.
Oh yeah,
I don't doubt that at all. Godwin Igwebuike, I'm not sure. That's one that he could.
He fumbled a lot when he got an opportunity.
Yeah,
so that was frustrating.
Seems like a coach's kind of guy, but yeah. Tom Kennedy, he was specifically called out for being a practice squad guy, showing toughness and grit, and then to make that throw in the last game.
Yeah. Maybe he should be our backup quarterback.
Probably more of the same, practice squad guy. But these are guys who are going to fill out the roster. You know?
For sure.
Matt Nelson.
Patterson, I think, is an interesting one.
Riley
the
Patterson.
Kicker. Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Do you think he deserved to keep that job?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You,
I thought he was
keep
a stud.
Riley Patterson.
Yeah, he missed one kick. It was like a 51-yarder or something like that.
Austin Siebert wasn't bad either, but he's went on IR, and we don't need to bring him back.
We don't need to really talk about kickers.
Matt Nelson, I think you absolutely bring back. What he showed is even bringing that the guy off the bench and the run situations.
Yep.
Played really, really well in those situations.
Yeah, and a lot of this can change based on the draft, because I think you could draft a guard mid-rounds and be like, sorry, we're going to move on with something like that as your offensive depth guy.
Yeah. Bobby Price, cornerback, no way. I don't think so. A.J. Parker kind of fills that role for us for depth. And then Jesse Lemonier, he had some sacks in there. I actually think he played pretty well in the last game. He sacked Aaron Rodgers, I believe. Or maybe it was Jordan Love. I don't remember.
It was Love. Yeah.
But either way, he showed something where he might be a guy that we choose to bring back.
No, I think that's good. A lot of names in there that will be.
I think overall, my expectation was we were losing so many just because of the big number. But if you look at the players, they're not huge impact type of guys. There's some decisions with I think the list that I rattled off with like Khalif Raymond, Jalen Reeves-Maben, Tracy Walker, Josh Reynolds, and Charles Harris, and that's pretty much the list, the extent of the really true impact players.
Yeah, and I think the key is knowing that they were big. They were important to this team, this 3-win team.
Yeah.
They were important. We don't want these guys to be important. These are the guys that we don't want to know their names when we're winning games with true elite talent, because that's what this team needs. They need elite talent in a lot of different spaces. How are they calling that a catch?
No idea.
Like
who didn't catch it?
That was
AJ Green.
That was not a catch. Was it, John?
I don't know if they're looking at it as a catch or if it's a hit to the helmet.
I didn't see a flag or anything.
Well, McVay just threw the bowling ball.
So one thing that was interesting, McVay, or was it McVay. He challenged for his very first time last week. Did you see that?
Really?
The very first challenge of the year was week 18.
What?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
That man's scared to challenge anything.
Foolish.
It's got to be the hair. He's a little nervous.
He is a little guy.
He is a little guy.
All
He
these
looks
refs talking down to him.
Yeah.
Can we call him Petrie?
Usually the refs are looking up to people, and they're looking down at him. Poor guy.
All right, can I real quick?
Yeah, real quick, put a bow on this for us.
Let me just the guys we have returning in the secondary. Let me just go through this real quick. Cornerback, we have Jeff Okuda. We don't know exactly what we're going to get out of him. We have Melon Fonwu, really came into his own later on in the season. I think we're excited about the potential that he has. Awarie, he's our rock. He's our stud that we need to extend.
So much. He took a massive step this year.
A.J. Parker, more of a depth guy. Jerry Jacobs, we loved what we saw from him when he was contributing. He just needs to get healthy. Those are our 4 cornerbacks. No, 5. I listed 5 cornerbacks right there. Our safeties, we have Will Harris, who also subbed in at corner and did actually a pretty decent job. Dean Marlowe could come back. Tracy Walker could come back. So safety is an obvious gap, maybe more than cornerback. And then linebackers. The only linebackers that we have signed are Derek Barnes, Austin Bryant, who's a speed rusher, Julian Aquara, speed rusher, Romeo Aquara, rusher, and Trey Flowers. Those are the linebacker. Who's an edge rusher? They're all edge rushers except for Derek Barnes. That's the point.
And what kind of defense do we run?
3-4 with the outside linebacker. Yeah, so it does make sense that those guys. Well, all those guys fill the same.
The edge rushers are important, but yeah, we gotta have legit.
So I think the point is we have Derek Barnes, a rookie playing his second year ever at linebacker compared to defensive end before that.
Yeah,
and then Alex Anzalone is a question mark coming back. Jalen Reeves-Maben, question mark coming back. That is an obvious area to invest in the draft, linebacker, but not solely that, because we need veteran people.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that. The Lions are still in a best player available scenario. It doesn't matter if it's a wide receiver. It doesn't matter if it's a
focus on safety and linebacker.
Yeah, or edge.
Yeah, in edge, it seems to be a strength of theirs, but I agree. Anytime you can get a dominant edge rusher, you take that chance.
Let's get into mock draft. Give me a second.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake.
And mock draft.
This is State of My Sports.
Yeah, you need to edit that bumper, bud.
What is that?
And mock drafts.
Yeah, just change it to kid loves, like a Lions fan loves mock drafts. Because I don't think any other team loves mock drafts like Lions.
No, it's our Super Bowl, guys. Come on.
It is. We do love. They did reverse that, thankfully. What a dumb call. Like, why would they? Who in the right mind thinks that's a catch?
I thought it was a catch and fumble.
Really?
Yeah, man. Let's stop pretending.
Well,
that
I guess.
Catch
Okay.
that.
All right. All right. Talk about it 2 different ways here.
Yeah.
Legitimately, yeah, he caught that ball. NFL, that was far from an NFL catch.
Yeah.
All right. Mock draft 2.0. John, be ready to be involved with this.
Are we pumped about our offensive line, by the way? They're all coming back.
Yep. And we could even add a guard and like Edmund Grimm or something. Mock draft.
Sam is just excited.
I love this.
So
I love talking about.
Micah takes this one away, right?
Yeah, take it away.
So a couple of weeks ago, we did something very similar to this. We are going to do basically the same thing, except this time around, we found a mock draft with quite a few trades, and possibly a trade with the Lions.
Oh, there you go.
So something Sam has been begging for forever and ever and ever is a mock draft where they trade down.
I love
or
trades.
Trade up.
Oh, trade up?
Wait, what?
I said or trade up.
All right, let's see where this goes.
Now my mind is blown.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
So
let's go.
We're giving up Jared Goff. We're going number 1.
So obviously Jacksonville is on the clock. And with that, they trade down. Oh, snap. They trade down with the New York Giants.
Did they get both of their first-round picks?
Yes, they
Son
did.
of a gun, I want to do that. Pick 6.
No way.
Okay. And with the first overall pick, the New York Giants select Kenny Pickett, QB, out of Pitt.
What?
Yup.
Whose mock draft is this?
Don't tell us yet.
Okay, don't tell us. No.
Okay.
Holy jeez. Kenny Pickett.
Hey.
They traded. Oh my God.
Jacksonville
they gave
might cut ties with
Was
Lawrence.
it 5 and 8?
5 and 7. Let me just double check that. 5 and 7. Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
We're jealous.
Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Lions are jealous.
All right.
Okay.
We'll
Number
give you
2.
We'll give you a third.
Got the Detroit Lions on the clock. And with that being said, the Detroit Lions trade down.
All right.
Oh boy. So, I mean, I would love to trade down with the Giants,
what's
but
the
I
offer?
can't do that.
Yeah, what's the offer here?
What is the offer?
The offer...
Philadelphia Eagles?
Nope. The offer is from your Carolina Panthers.
Oh, boy.
Carolina Panthers are giving you their first-round pick.
Which is... 11?
Number
8?
6. Sorry.
6.
Ooh, okay.
Number 6.
Okay.
And their third-round pick this year. And you are handing them your... What?
No, go ahead. We're handing them number 2.
Yep, number 2. And your 5th-round pick.
Okay, so we're swapping a 3rd and a 5th.
Yep.
For swapping 2nd overall and 6th overall.
Yep. Okay.
So, all right. I'm not mad at you, Micah. I'm mad at this.
I hope not.
Because this doesn't add up.
Correct.
This doesn't add up to start. We're 2 trades in,
Makes
2
no
picks
sense.
in. Well, not even 2 picks in. It makes no sense. The Giants gave up 5 and 7 for number 1.
Yeah.
They took a player that they probably could have got at 5 or 7.
I told you one of you were going to be mad.
Both of us are mad. And now the Lions are going to move down 4 spots and get a 3rd-round pick and also give up a 5th-round pick.
Wow.
So, okay. I know there's a calculation formula that people go off of. That doesn't add up.
No, it does. They're expecting the Lions to get owned in this situation.
Well, that adds up. Is Bob Quinn back or no?
Goodness gracious.
All right. But anyways, all right. So they trade down. Let's just keep this going, right? This is I'm already angry.
He's the one stopping himself right now.
I think we both knew who's going to get mad.
It just doesn't add up, does it, John? Does it add up?
I'm waiting for you to just start reading off your mock draft.
Yeah, I'm going to build
This
those
is what I
mock
would have
drafts.
done.
No,
Do you
listen,
see the total yards are -1 for Carolina?
for Arizona.
Or sorry, yeah, Arizona.
Well,
Luckily,
Carolina, too, yeah.
luckily we're
Carolina.
going to do probably 2 dozen more mock drafts this year.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. We'll probably do
We're
mock
good.
drafts after
We're
the
good.
draft.
okay.
Get it right.
So before that last play, when -1 overall yards, the
Total
Lions
yards.
had more total yards. You're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, with Carolina's pick, they pick up Evan Neal out of Alabama.
Okay. They traded up for Evan Neal.
They traded up for Evan
I could
Neal.
see somebody trading up for Evan Neal.
I agree with that.
He's a stud, dude.
Yeah.
That's Carolina.
He's a giant human being.
But who's their QB? That's what boggles my mind. Anyone? Bueller, right?
Sam Darnold?
I don't think they believe in Darnold.
I don't
but
think next year
know.
he is.
I don't know. That's weird. That is weird. Anyways,
So,
they did get our 5th-round pick. Maybe they could get a quarterback with a 5th-round pick, since quarterbacks are flying off the board.
All right, so Evan Neal number 2. Who's number 3?
So number 3, Kayvon Thibodeau
Okay, yeah, that's
to the Houston Texans.
Geez, they got a steal there
Okay.
at 3.
And then the New York Jets pick up Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan.
Yep.
Kiss your career goodbye.
At number 5, Jacksonville picks up Ikem Ekwonu
Yeah.
out of North Carolina State.
Ikem Ekwonu.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the help on that one.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's not a
flying
Evan
off
Neal.
boards,
Yeah, yeah. He's athletic, so I see what people like about him.
I don't know why they would trade out of 1 when they could just take Evan Neal, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, you trade out.
I mean, to get 5 and 7.
Yeah, you trade
I know,
out
I get
for
it,
that, yeah.
Okay,
All right,
now
Lions are on the board.
the Lions are on the board. I'm going to list off a few names that are still available, which is basically
Kyle Hamilton.
everyone. Okay. You guys write down your picks like we did a couple weeks ago.
All right, so can you name some of the guys?
Yep, in a minute here. So some of the key names available right now are, let's see here. I totally misspelled this guy's name. Charles Cross. I don't know how he misspelled that. That's amazing.
He's the corner?
Yep.
Charles Cross is an offensive tackle
Oh, yeah.
out of Mississippi State.
Okay.
You've got George Karlaftis, defensive end out of Purdue. David Ajabo, defensive end out of Michigan. Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. And Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback out of Louisiana State University.
Yeah. And a Jabo, you said.
Also known as LSU.
Yeah, and all the wide receivers on the board.
Correct.
All the wide receivers are on the board. All right. So do you want us to tell you when our pick's in, or are we just going to write it down and move?
We're going to
move
write it
forward?
down and move. I'm going to do what you did last time. I'm going to name some other picks that we had here.
Okay.
So at number 11, the Washington football team picked up Matt Corral.
Matt Corral.
Is it Corral?
Yep.
Oh, I've heard
Who
it both ways. Sorry.
Who took him?
Washington football team.
Okay, the football team.
The football team.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
At 16, Philadelphia Eagles select Traylon Burks.
I like him.
I do too. I think he's that Samuel. He's Debo.
He could. Yeah, he really could be.
He's
giant.
if you're gonna put somebody in that mold, it might be him.
More speed,
Yeah.
but big.
At 20, we've got Pittsburgh Steelers taking Tyler Linderbaum.
Oh yeah.
You think that's too low for him?
I think it's too low for him because he's going to be elite. I really believe he will.
Mm-hmm.
After watching him play, I don't know who is going to invest early in a center / guard.
Yeah.
Who's really going to play center? People just don't invest in centers that often. I think it's a great spot for Steelers to get him though.
Was it just last year or 2 years ago where it was just interior lineman after interior lineman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So with the 21st pick, the Patriots pick up Nakobe Dean out of Georgia.
From first.
See that I almost wanted to take him even at 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's going to skyrocket up boards. Personally, I think everybody's projecting him 20s, even some in the second round. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then 2 more notable names I want to hit on before that second pick of your guys's. At 22, the Dolphins pick up Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State.
At what number?
22.
At 22.
Okay.
And the New York Jets from the Arizona Cardinals, they pick up Daxton Hill.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right.
That makes sense.
Good pick. So that leaves the Lions at the 27th overall pick.
Okay.
Yep. And some notable names. I'll give you guys about 6 of them here. I got
right.
6
And
that I
there
like.
we might ask a couple too, but
That's fine.
all right.
So we got Jamison Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama.
ACL.
We got Trayvon Walker, defensive end out of Georgia. Kenyon Green, offensive guard out of Texas A&M. Darian Kennard, offensive guard out of Kentucky. Sean Ryan, or Rion, offensive tackle out of UCLA. And Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State.
Is the linebacker from Utah still on the board? Or
Devin Lloyd.
Is he still on the board?
Devin Lloyd still is not on the board for you guys.
So he's not available, or he's not picked? Sorry, I might have asked that weird. He's not on the board.
He is picked
He's already
before you.
He got picked right before us.
Right before us.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
If he was after you, I'd
All
let
right.
you
What
have him.
what wide receivers are available?
So you got Williams and Dotson.
Williams, Dotson, Chris Olave's got to be gone at this point.
Yeah, I would assume he is.
Traylon Burks was gone. Okay.
What about the guy from USC?
USC? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to not Jackson. That's Drake Jackson. He's
Drake London.
Drake London. Yeah.
Drake London's picked up 17th overall by the Chargers.
Wow. So they invested in wide receiver. Okay, so
All right. I think this list, the list that you gave us, makes sense.
I hate these guys available. I almost wanted to be Kenyon Green and do a guard. Oh, goodness. We're not even going quarterback options here.
Is Pickens off the board?
I like Pickens.
Ooh,
No, he's still on the board.
Not in the first round, right? He's like a
Pickens will be third round in most projections right now, I think.
No, he
He's just
showed
got
enough.
the NFL frame. Man.
Yeah, he
Most of
showed
the
enough.
projections I see is third round. He's still available.
He could be picked in the first round. He could be still.
I would love for him to go.
I don't
top
see him
20.
on the list.
So he's probably still there.
He's available.
Yeah,
George
yeah.
Pickens is. Yeah.
I would personally take one of the other 2 wide receivers over Pickens personally. All right, I got my picks in. Are we gonna go into the second round and do our first second round pick, or are we calling it at that one?
I don't have a second round for you.
You don't have a second round.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, we stuck to just the first round. That's it.
All right.
All right.
I haven't even made my first pick yet. I just kind of.
Just going to let it flow.
That's cheating.
It's between 3 of them.
That's
Come on,
literally
man.
cheating.
It's between 3 of them.
Because you're not supposed to know who's available.
Well, it didn't impact anything.
All right.
All right. You want me to go first? My picks are in.
Absolutely. Let's do this.
All right. Lions are on the clock at 6, and my pick is in. Nope. For the 6th overall pick for the Detroit Lions, after trading down with a terrible deal, Detroit Lions select Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, doesn't it just like burn to pick a safety that early though? Doesn't it hurt?
Well, I've done I've been testing the waters of taking him at 2.
Have you?
Really?
I have, and I don't like it. I even watch his film, and I'm not
convinced.
I'm
either.
not convinced, but everybody's telling me I should be, and that's where I'm just be like, okay, I'm gonna trust other people on this. But if you can get potentially the best, from what I'm hearing is he's potentially the best player in this draft. Period. End of story.
Really?
I don't see it. Again, I don't. But that's what people are saying.
Yeah, because he's so versatile. He can play safety. He can be a cover guy. They're saying he can drop down into linebacker when needed.
I look at this as like, okay, this is the Sewell pick all over again. Is it who I would have taken at 2? Not necessarily, but you can get the best player in the draft at 6.
Yeah.
I'm going to go walk in blindly, and I'm going to take him. That's where I'm at with that.
All right.
Ryan, you're up.
The pick is in. With the 6th overall pick, the Detroit Lions select George Karlaftis, edge rusher from Purdue.
What do you know about this guy?
All right.
The 3rd best edge rusher in the draft.
Or 4th. Ajabo might be better.
Yeah.
Like a pure speed rusher and maybe game-breaking ability. Ajabo might be that guy. What I see about from Karlaftis is he's relentless. Like he is absolutely relentless. He's great. He's so strong. He just like knocks people out of the way. I don't know if he's always going to be an edge rusher in the NFL.
Where else would he fit?
He's got a big body and he's compact. He does not have the long arm typical guy that you'd see on the edge. I think he could go inside, play tackle, and get after the quarterback from the inside. And if he can pair with somebody else, like let's just say Aquara is as good as we hope he is. If Aquara and him are both working inside outside, that's when you really get pressured. That's when you become a difference maker.
We're talking about Romeo.
Romeo Aquara, yeah, or
Okay.
Julian. I don't care who it
Yeah.
is. One of the Aquaras needs to work out really well. But
One
I
of
think
them works out really
Karlaftis is one of those guys where if you're a coach, he's not my pick because I think I believe in him. He's my pick because I think he could be the biggest game breaker or disruptor if he falls within the scheme at the perfect point.
All right. John,
Well done.
you're on the clock.
Johnny.
I don't have any clock music.
Yeah. Will you tell me when your pick's in?
Oh, pick's in.
Oh,
Oh, I mean, I wrote this down a long time ago.
6th overall pick.
I just want to see Ojabo come play for the Detroit Lions.
Ojabo.
Yes.
I do love that.
Bo.
I love that call, by the way. That is
So
one of the best
good.
You
calls.
just see some of these other guys that are like blooming in the NFL. Rashawn Gary had kind of a career year with the Packers.
Yeah.
Devin Bush. It's like, why not go after one of these guys? Chase Winovich. They all have been playing pretty
Woody
well.
Pay had a good rookie year.
So
Oh, he was one of the best for the Colts on their team.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Go after him. Get him. We need it.
What I love about Ojabo is I think he has untapped potential, and he really could be the number 1 edge rusher of the entire draft.
I love his story too. I mean, he just started playing football and like his family and everything. Came from nothing. Might as well go after him. I don't know. I think that's a humble.
He'll
guy
be
you wanna
intriguing
grab
to
in the
me
top 10.
at our first round pick.
If he's there at second, first round, you take him hands down. I don't care.
Absolutely.
even if we already took an edge,
I don't care if you have Aiden Hutchinson already. You take both of them.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Roommates.
That'll make a lot
How
of Michigan
dope
fans
would
go
that
6
be?
to midnight. Mikey might even become a Lions fan.
Yeah. Not happening.
Then the Lions
Love
trade
you
for
guys.
Grady or Gary. I mean,
Every time I trade down, if
Grady?
look, if Ajabo's there at 8 or 10, and we've traded down into that area, I take Ajabo almost every time because
Really?
I think he adds that same game-breaking potential value that you get number 1 or 2, or second overall, and you add the assets.
when I
to
trade down outside the top 10, but like 10 to 18, I always think wide receiver. Like that's where my brain goes. I don't want to reach on the 5th best edge rusher. You know what I mean? Like
you gotta
that's
think
the way
about
I
this
think though.
coaching
That's the way
staff.
like I am. I think through these drafts. That's why I'm not a GM yet.
Yeah, you got to think about this coaching staff and who they believe in. They're diving into the core of the team, the guys in the trenches, the linebackers. That's who they want.
Yeah. So all right. So let's see who this idiot that doesn't know how to trade in a mock draft. Doesn't know how mock drafts work with trades.
Do you want to know who it is and where it's from or no?
I want to know who he took now.
Okay.
And then after we know who he took at 27, then we can roast this guy through the coals with this awful trade that Lions accepted.
I'm projecting he took Derek Stingley Jr.
Okay. Well, let's figure it out.
All right. Tell me when his pick's in.
His pick is in.
He doesn't deserve the whole chime.
Jeez. With his pick,
this is Micah's mock
Detroit
draft.
Lions select Kyle Hamilton.
Love this guy.
Safety
This guy's
out of Notre Dame.
He's a brilliant mother
I was waiting for that to dig himself out of his own hole.
He knows exactly what he's talking about. This guy's brilliant.
Yeah, this is Sam's mock draft.
So they said Kyle Hamilton exhibits excellent short area burst, long speed, change of direction, and clean transitions. A long, athletic frame that is both flexible and powerful.
I hear it.
I hate that.
Hear it. I don't see it. I tried to see it.
I'm right there with you. I look at the film and I'm not
convinced. I think the combine will
convinced.
tell us a little bit more. Not that I'm a big combine guy, but he must be doing something that I just don't see on film. But everybody looks slow in Notre Dame, though.
It's the jerseys.
It might be.
Yeah,
It might be the
kind of
natural
is.
grass,
Yeah,
too.
I was going to say the turf, yeah.
All right, moving on.
Probably the weighted gold helmets. And
Let's move on to
fake
the
pads.
Brian Kelly.
27th overall pick.
Makes everybody look slow. But
My pick
that GPA.
is in. All right, I know he has the ACL tear, and I know it's a risk. We're not looking to win this year. We might get the second best wide receiver at 27 overall. I'm taking Williams.
Ooh. I
He's
like
a
that
project, man. Like he's
My pick is in.
pick.
Ryan's
Ryan
gonna
wants
just talk
him to
for
be
me.
quiet.
Yeah, so he can just
Jameson
tell-
Williams.
Yeah.
Oh,
I picked him too.
I
Yeah,
thought you were gonna hate that pick.
No, I think that
I think linebacker, if you can get one of the top two guys, that'd be a great spot for the Lions
but
to get
he's
one
not
of those.
there. He's not there.
No, I'm just saying linebackers, neither one of them were
Yeah,
there.
neither one of them were there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at that point, you got to move on. And out of those wide receivers, he could be the number one impact guy out of this draft. With his speed, he has incredible speed. I think he makes Chris Olave look kind of slow. Like, this dude is next level speed. But it's not only that. It's not also just the burners. He doesn't rely on it. He seems to have wide receiver skills. He seems to have a route tree.
Yeah, it's a little concerning that he wasn't going to see playing time at Ohio State to stay there and go through that. But I mean, Alabama doesn't put bad wide receivers in the league very often.
Just Henry Rhodes, the
nope.
third.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was good,
Bad people, yeah.
Is he in the league?
just not a good driver.
Not no more.
Which I mean,
Ouch.
Ohio State doesn't produce good drivers either. So
But that's the trap, I guess. Ruggs is the good comparison where it's like, did he change that team? Was he that valuable? It never really translated.
It didn't.
No, because Devontae Smith did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith is the real deal. He's a wide
Yeah.
receiver. Ruggs
yeah.
was never the wide receiver. He just ran fast.
Correct.
Cool.
Johnny.
Waddle had a big year, right? For Miami?
He had a good year.
And
Over-
Waddle's the underneath guy.
Over
Yeah.
100 catches, I believe.
Yeah. Rookie
All right,
record.
John.
All right, pick is in. I'm in the same boat with you guys. I just put down best upside wide receiver available at that.
So is it
time.
Williams or Dotson?
I don't know. I wrote down a couple names, but I bet is John Mechie gone? Was he picked before that pick or no? I mean,
No, I think
Is Bell still available?
Mechie's still available.
yeah, I think both of those are still
David
available.
Bell's still available. Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like any of those guys that Ross from Cleveland, he looks good. I mentioned Pickens too from Georgia. I mean, he's just got
Yeah.
the frame and I don't know the tangibles. He wasn't healthy. He didn't play all year. But
Yeah.
whatever best upside wide receiver is available.
Pickens has great
Yeah.
hands, though.
Dude, George Pickens is
We need a wide receiver.
I would love to get Pickens in
Underrated.
this draft, but I wouldn't want him in the
he
first
ran
round.
he ran
personally.
like a 10.4 100-yard dash in high school. This guy's a speedster.
All right, this Jack A. His
Yep.
picks in. Unless it's Williams, then this guy's just brilliant.
Oh, man. With his pick, he's going with Trayvon Walker, defensive end out of Georgia.
Okay, so Kyle Hamilton and Trayvon Walker. That's the combo.
You guys, yeah, he went defense.
I don't hate it. Okay. Can you do me a quick favor? Do you have the rest of that first round on that paper or no?
I've got the
Or
whole
did you
first
stop?
round.
Okay. Can you tell me who was picked after the Lions to finish out the first round?
Yep. We've got Dallas taking offensive guard Kenyon Green, Texas A&M. Apparently, this guy is just the cat's meow. He's very flexible.
He's good.
He started at every single position on the offensive line except center this year, and you can't even make that stuff up.
Some people want him
awesome.
to be a tackle. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kansas City, they pick up Jamison Williams.
Okay.
They would pick up a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay at 30, they pick up offensive guard Darian Kennard out of Kentucky. At 31, Tennessee Titans pick up offensive tackle Sean. I'm going to go with Ryan. He's got an RHYAN. And then the Packers pick up Jahan Dotson.
Okay.
Packers pick up Jahan Dotson.
Interesting.
I don't see that.
All right.
No.
So none of the guys. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, interesting.
Who is this a-hole? Who doesn't know how to trade?
He's so mad.
This is a terrible trade.
That's a terrible trade. Awful trade.
Get me next year's first round on top of that, and I'm gonna be like, okay, now we're talking. But don't give up a fifth round.
Hey, Karlaftis might be
What are
the
you
best
giving
out
up
of
a
all.
fifth round pick for? You're not giving up squat for this pick.
This is what I was telling you. I didn't think
Bull
you
crap.
got enough back. This is Zach Petra from Sports Illustrated.
Is his name
Sports
Jack or
Illustrated.
Zach? What was it?
Zach Petra.
How do you spell that? I'm gonna reach out to him.
Yeah, what's his Twitter handle?
ZACKPATRAW. Zach Petra.
All right, all the listeners out there, reach out to Zach Petra. Tell him that he needs to come on State of My Sports podcast and defend himself with his garbage
man.
trade after the Giants gave up 5 and 7, and we get squat.
Yeah.
Is he
They
amped?
moved up the same
Man.
amount. They moved up the same amount. And
Yeah,
they
who
gave
did-
up a 5th and 7th.
Who did
we
Jacksonville
gave
get?
up 5th.
7th.
Ooh, that's a
Jacksonville
cool
picked up a
third.
Jabo.
Oh, a Jabo.
At
They got
7.
they got a Jabo and Equanu.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty good.
Tweet at him. Add him on the Instagram or whatever you do.
Why don't you tweet at
That's
him?
interesting. If
I think I'm going
Jacksonville does want to trade down, I mean I don't
See how angry I
I don't
am
see
tomorrow.
it. I don't see people.
No,
trading up.
no, Jacksonville won't trade down, first of all.
No.
I think the Lions are in a tough position to trade down too. Nobody's going to want to trade up at this point, unless one of the top edge rushers goes first overall, and then if Hutchinson or if Hutchinson's there at 2 and somebody's convinced with him, then maybe. But I don't see it.
It's crazy how many teams have like a sketchy quarterback position right now, and there's no quarterbacks really in the draft. You know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Is Kenny Pickett the only one that will go in the first round? I don't know.
Well, they had Corral or Coral or whatever. Corral.
I think Matt
going
Corral.
11.
I think Matt Corral will most likely go in the first round, but he could drop out of the first. Sam Howell, I think, is almost a guarantee in the first.
I think so too.
Kenny Pickett, and then dude out of Liberty. What's his name?
Malik Willis.
Malik
Malik
Willis. I
Willis,
think
yeah.
he'll definitely go because of his upside. Somebody's going to really like him.
Thanks for doing that, Micah.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
Did want to talk some Red Wings and Pistons before we sign off for the night. We're going to start with the Red Wings. They're one of the streakiest teams right now. They lost I think it was 6 of 7. They got a couple overtime losses, so they got a couple points out of it. And all of a sudden they won 2 straight against a bad Buffalo team. I don't want to get into that. What I want to get into is the All-Star stuff going on. And all right, originally when I was going to talk about this, my brain went to, all right, I'm going to grill Dylan Larkin for being the All-Star for the Red Wings. But I'm not going to do that.
That's because he's got too many points for you to grill him.
Well, he's having a better season than I thought on paper. And he put up 2 goals today, so I was like, all right, it's not a good time to try to
what has he got,
hate
18? 18 now?
on him. Yeah, he does have 18 because he had 2 today. But the next part that I wanted to bring up was Lucas Raymond is on the next player in, basically, so the fan ballot. And I don't want to hate on either of these guys. I don't want to hate on Larkin. I don't want to hate on Raymond for what they're doing and the spots that they deserve. They deserve to be in the conversation for an All-Star. Neither one of them are the most important player on this team.
Bertuzzi's most important.
Bertuzzi is the heartbeat of this team. And the thing that's really making me angry here is it's not about production. It's not about the C on Larkin's jersey, because Bertuzzi's been on the All-Star game, been on the All-Star team before over Larkin when they're putting up similar numbers. Bertuzzi is the heartbeat of the team. He is the best player on this team. He is the most important, and we're seeing that day in and day out when he's on the ice. He's played in less games. They're both averaging about a point a game, which is pretty solid for when I'm talking Larkin and Bertuzzi. But what I'm really frustrated with is the fact that he's not even on the fan ballot. And I think what that is 100% a shot as the only player in the NHL being unvaccinated. And look, I'm not going to say if I'm pro-vax, anti-vax. I'm anti-vax personally, but that's not what this is about.
You just said.
This is about...
I'm not going to say it. But
in my opinion, this is about the NHL taking a shot at the one player and not allowing him the ability to get voted in. Because they are deathly afraid of what that vote might look like. They're deathly afraid of bringing in an unvaccinated player, the only unvaccinated player who deserves an all-star sniff, just like Dylan Larkin does, just like Raymond does, just like Seider kind of does. Look, none of these guys really do, because there's way better players in the NHL, but each team needs to have a player. And I get that, and the Red Wings, I think if they had a team vote, a blind team vote of who is your best player, who deserves this chance, it would be Bertuzzi.
Tenfold.
Landslide.
Yeah.
It would be complete. Well, it would make any. It would. He is so important to this team. It is insane.
It's so obvious,
the difference he makes.
And that's the problem. Like, it's so obvious that he is so important. How could he not even be on the ballot? And it's so clearly political.
It is.
Why can't we just get past that? Why can't sports just be non-political? Why do we have to wrap politics into all of it?
And look, I hate bringing into the politics. I hate it. But in this scenario, when you allegedly have one player unvaccinated in the whole NHL, tell me if I believe that or not.
Yeah, a whole bunch of fake cards out there.
Yeah. Or whatever you want to call it.
Whatever, yeah.
Or like what do they call it? When you don't have to get it?
Exemptions.
Exemptions.
Yeah.
I bet you most of them are exemptions, and they're just allowing the exemptions to be considered vax. That's my assumption.
Canada won't. You'll know who's vaccinated. Canada is not bending on that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Because they're communists.
Yeah. No freedom.
Sorry. I'm not.
You're not.
No, but no flag bearers here today.
But it's,
you
it's a good
what
point.
I'm saying?
It's like, it's frustrating as a fan when it's supposed to mean something, and it has nothing to do. We're not voting for somebody's political point of view.
Yep.
If you want us to take hockey seriously, if the sporting event seriously, then you judge them based on what they produce on the ice, how important they are, and that's all we're asking. Just leave politics out of it, please.
Yes. Yep. And they are. They haven't said anything about it.
No, they didn't, and that's the point.
Yeah.
They told us right there.
Yeah, and it's just disappointing because I think Bertuzzi's the type of guy. Look, I don't care who makes All-Star games. I don't care who makes Pro Bowls. I don't care who makes NBA All-Stars.
Yeah.
None of that matters to me. I don't care.
Just don't make it political.
And that is political. You can't tell me it's not. And that really bothers me. It's unfortunate for Bertuzzi. I think it's unfair for Bertuzzi because he's been our best player. He deserves an all-star sniff, and he's not even getting a chance to get voted in. And that's disappointing to me.
Now, they had
they
had an easy out. Larkin's having a good year. He's 18 goals, 18 assists. I mean, he's earned his spot to represent the Red Wings.
The one thing that really stood out to me when you're looking at numbers is Bertuzzi is plus. These are our stats before today's game. Plus 13 compared to Larkin's plus 4. They're generally playing on the same line.
Mm-hmm.
How is that physically possible? Like, that's insane to me. That's telling me, all right, when Bertuzzi's out,
games, yeah.
when Bertuzzi's out for the 3 games that he's been out more than Larkin, what's happening?
It tells me they're losing a lot in Canada.
They have lost a lot in Canada. They have. I don't have the numbers in front of me
Without
right
Bertuzzi.
now. But, that's just frustrating to me. Again, don't want to lose sleep over who makes an All-Star game. He's not losing sleep over it. Nobody in Detroit really is. Just seems unfair. It's disappointing that's what it came down to, because I feel like it came down to that.
It's cool that Lucas Raymond got this recognition of being like a reserve or whatever, first man up. I think that's cool just because if you're that age, it's almost solidifying like the way you're playing and doing stuff the right way, and it might inspire him to work hard and all that kind of stuff because he's reaping the benefits from it already.
Yep, and I don't want to hate on any of the guys that made the All-Star team, and I don't want to hate on any of the guys that are on this particular page, but I think when you can name 2 Red Wings alone, that Bertuzzi probably should have got a chance over first, like, that tells me something. So, anyways.
Cue that.
Great transition.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
Ryan, tell us about the Pistons.
Yeah, man. Last 9 games with the Pistons, they're 5-4, and they are the second worst team in basketball. They're 10-32 right now, so I'm not pretending they're a good team, but it tells you something with the new year. They've been a new Pistons at this point
Without Jeremy Grant.
And the whole thing without Jeremy Grant. And I think that's important to note because they have been learning how to play together in their own way and figuring out whatever team dynamic they have. They're doing it without Grant, so they can continue that kind of process of understanding what the team looks like and different additions that might come in without him being in the picture. And I think it's almost becoming inevitable that they're going to get assets for Jeremy Grant at some point. Absolutely. Do
you think he plays another game in Detroit?
No, I really don't actually think so.
So he's currently, if I read the correct article, he got moved to the Drive to start a rehab stint. In the G League.
Yep, it's starting.
So that's good news. But at that point, it's like, don't let him come back. And it's not like he was the cancer like Griffin was during the end.
Yeah.
No. But it's just like let them move on. They've moved on in a lot of ways. Let it not like don't try to adjust it. And I'm not saying they're playing playoff basketball or anything, but just let him move on and don't come back and just move him before he gets a chance.
I just like the last 9 games. Let me just go through this real quick. They beat the Spurs. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Bucks by 9 points. Completely ramped. They got blown out by the Hornets. Not even close. They gave up 140 points. They got absolutely destroyed by 40 points by the Grizzlies and then embarrassed on TNT when the guys were mocking the Pistons on how they didn't try at all. Then they come back and they beat the Magic. They beat the Jazz of all teams. And then they set a franchise worst loss record against the Bulls. They lost 133-87. I can't even do the math on that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's like 56 points.
That's brutal.
And then
I think that was the worst loss in franchise history. Your second worst loss or something
it's something like that. And then they go off and beat the Raptors by 15 points and then lose to the Suns by 1 million. So this team is so bipolar. They're just extreme ups, extreme downs. It's a sign of youth. It's a sign of where they're if they have building blocks, they haven't figured it out yet. Absolutely not. But I think overall what we've taken from this is that Cade Cunningham's not afraid of the moment. I think he's absolutely was deserving of the first overall pick. I don't want anybody else in his place at this point.
I think his maturity is the biggest thing.
In the pace of play, he just takes his time. He makes good decisions. He still makes mistakes. His turnover rate's still like above 3 a game, but it's not reckless. He takes some chances, but I think he's going to be learning through that the whole way. He's athletic, more athletic than we thought. He's a great shooter, just like we thought. I'm really happy with that pick. Sadiq Bey's coming to his own. I think you're seeing him as the secondary scorer. Him and Cade bounce off each other. And then Hamidou Diallo has really come into his own, and he's averaging about 15 points a game over that last stretch. And when all the guys were out, Diallo was averaging 25 to 30 points a game. And so I think what we saw is his athleticism. He learned how to score, and he's finding his niche within this offense. And then other guys, Trey Lyles and Corey Joseph, those guys might be trade bait at some point too because they really added a lot of value. Josh Jackson's starting to come back. Overall, I think Killian Hayes is still the most frustrating player because you see some spurts here and there. Disappointment sometimes.
A topic that I've been wanting to do, and I think you guys can hold me to it, that we should do next week is Detroit sports players that are like this close to giving up on, or guys that we need to give another chance to. I feel like they're all over.
Oh, we could like take a vote on it?
Yeah, like I think the Red Wings have a guy or two. The Pistons obviously have Killian Hayes. The Lions have Akuda and maybe some other names that are like guys that we like bought into. Tigers, we could bring in like prospects and stuff. They're just like names that we have to decide on, and which ones are, kind of like categorize them or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a good, interesting topic. Yeah, overall, I think the Pistons, they have their identity. It'll be interesting. Bull trade did not go through.
Yeah, that was the big thing we talked about last week was the Bull trade. We were like, this is how it's going to work. John was like...
all this upside.
Yeah, right?
So much upside.
Just the upside is gone. He's probably going to get cut by his team, right? Because you kind of got to cut a player after you try to trade
he probably
him,
right? I don't know, told him off as he was out the door, and it's like, oh, hey, guys, I'm back. I think it's interesting. The storyline out of that, I think the biggest one, not how much that the trade not going through impacts the Pistons, but more that 3 out of the last 5 trades that have been canceled because of injury concerns have been the Pistons. I'm talking in the NBA.
And there was also a player that came out and said that, right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't really say it, but he implied that the Pistons do this to kill careers. Like, that's what he implied, and I missed who it was. I think it was someone with a Spurs.
It's like, no, it's DeMontis Servidis or something close to that, but...
Because he was part of the last one,
the
right?
Rockets. He was a trade with the Rockets that didn't go through. I was actually kind of excited about him, and then I guess they said no because of his knee.
They said he shouldn't be playing basketball, and here he is still playing.
Yeah, he's playing 6 years later. He's still playing overseas. He's not playing in the NBA.
Oh, he's not? Okay,
but he's healthy and he's playing and he's producing. So
overseas.
Yeah, and I think that was his point. Like, yeah, but he could play, and that kind of ruined his NBA career because then he got a bad rep.
That's like saying, Johnny Manziel, you're not good enough to play in the NFL, or you're not good enough to play football.
But
he's playing in
Canada.
The CFL. The CFL.
Well, but if you're going to reject the trade, if you're going to reject, it's just a weird dynamic. Why are you trading for a guy and then declining the trade because of injuries when there's not that big of an injury concern? I don't know.
It is a little weird.
And how does that translate from GM to GM? It's just it's a weird story. I don't think it's anything to keep our eyes on. Bobo probably wasn't going to work out anyway, so
high upside.
High upside. No risk. No risk, and that was the point the whole time.
Double bowl.
They should have a bowl named after him.
2 bowls.
The Bowl.
Like the famous bowl?
Yeah.
The KFC famous bowl?
Yeah, exactly. The Bowl. Where is he from? They could play it in his country?
United States.
No, isn't he? I thought he was from somewhere else. Or his dad was from...
Dad is from Africa. Yeah.
Africa?
Somewhere in Africa. Sudan, I think.
I thought we talked about this last week, didn't we? Where he was from?
Manute Bol is tied with George Mearson for the tallest player in the NBA history. I think 7'7". They were both 7'7", but I think George Mearson was like a hair taller.
A hair taller?
Yeah.
So
literally.
So Manute Bol was bald.
Probably had like 100 pounds on Manute Bol.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Not even close. Yeah.
Maybe just like above the shoulders. Like he just had a big head.
I think at my biggest, I
Mearson.
think I had 99 pounds on Manute Bol. Because I weighed 199 pounds.
Good stuff. Let's get into our beer. No, I just laughed to make you feel better about it. I don't know.
It's weird. Didn't help.
All right. Micah, remind us what we are drinking today. From Hartland Brewing Company, established in 2018. Where are they at? Hartland, Michigan? I'm assuming?
Yeah, they're in Hartland, Michigan, so that's about 30 minutes north of Ann Arbor, and they're roughly 45 minutes or so out of Detroit. They're kind of smack dab in between Detroit and Lansing. So right now, what you guys just poured is their Persistence Peanut Butter Porter. So what's really cool about this, Aaron Reed, our good friend from high school, he's the head brewer there, and he decided to make this an allergen-free peanut butter porter.
That's probably pretty rare.
Which is pretty rare. It's pretty cool. I think he did it through some sort of oils or something of that nature.
Okay.
A little too scientific for me, but I know I like the beer. I tried it last weekend. It's very.
You tried both of these beers?
I did.
Could you give them a grade off the top of your head or no?
Yeah,
you could. Okay, I'm gonna put you on here then. Okay.
All right.
I didn't know if you would have it, so I'm not putting you on the spot to do it right this second.
No, that's all good.
In about 5 seconds.
Sure.
No, but keep going. Keep going with. Keep explaining what we got here.
So, like we said before, this is an allergy-free peanut butter porter. It's got hints of chocolate and caramel in there. I don't know. Have you guys tried it yet?
This is incredible.
Do you like it?
I wish I was drinking this the whole time.
It's a really good beer.
I love the smell, the aroma coming out of the growler. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anybody got some jelly? I just want to make a sandwich.
Make a sandwich.
So the other beer, their Kolsch beer, is their Sensuous. Since you was up, get me another beer. That's how a reader likes to say it. So well done on that Kolsch. I did like that Kolsch. That was one of the very few Kolsches I've enjoyed. I think that, maybe we made a mistake having them in a growler for a week, and that's maybe like a couple days too long, possibly.
Yeah.
But fresh on tap, these beers are even better. But nonetheless, go visit Hartland. They do a lot of fresh pizzas right in front of you. They make them behind.
How far is the drive to Hartland from here?
Hour and a half.
We should get out there for an episode.
Just past Lansing, then. Not too far past Lansing.
Yeah, maybe.
We should get out there for an
45
episode.
minutes. So you get off the Howell exit, and then you just go eastbound.
You guys down to do that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Aaron, we're coming. Just be ready.
Google Maps says an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh.
So not too bad. You're right. You're right there.
We can do that. We can do that.
Ooh. Well, that just changed by 15 minutes. 30 minutes round trip.
Yeah, how long's the episode going to be?
15 minutes.
Well, you never know with Ryan. So
yeah, that is kind of true. Yeah, I talk too much.
Nobody mock draft 17.0, so
I was hoping you were going to talk
add
about
some time.
Kelly Olynyk coming back and Luka Garza.
Did you want me to?
Rehabs.
I could go full on.
Well, isn't McGruber back now? Or McGruber?
It's definitely McGruber for sure.
McGruber.
I saw an article out of Detroit too, and they were all like praising him coming back. Like,
no way.
He's a great veteran. He's good for the team, good for the locker room.
He's
it's
cut.
like, you just tried letting him go for Bobo.
They're like,
Full of
hi, welcome back.
That's a bull statement.
He's like, I'm so happy you guys want me here.
I can just see the article now in the Score app. Welcome back.
They're gonna send him. They're gonna send him to the G League.
Oh, they're definitely gonna have a Magruder bobblehead night. You know?
He's been wearing the wrong jersey though. Touchdown.
What did you guys think of that Kolsch though?
All right, so I really liked the Kolsch. It was very. So it's not necessarily my style, but it's good. I gave it an 8.2.
I think that Kolsch was the first Kolsch I've ever consumed. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard or ventured down that rabbit hole of craft beer. I usually stick to the IPAs. I thought it was smooth, light. It kind of had a little kickback taste there at the end. I'm not gonna lie, it tasted a little bit like THC or something in a way, which intrigues me a little more too here behind the scenes.
I'll have to ask Aaron if he puts some in there.
Yeah, I'm not lying. I'm gonna say an 8.7, 8.8 range.
Whoa.
Like a smooth drinker.
Wow, he likes that.
Yes.
I'm gonna go 8.8 just to make everybody feel even better.
You gotta like all kinds of German in you probably then.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mikey,
I'm a huge
he
fan
likes
of the
it.
movie Beer Fest, right? So I'm wondering if this is something that
There you go.
maybe
I
they
think
were
we should
having
get
it.
boots
You're meant
That's
to be
for
there.
our
Yeah.
mugs moving forward. Just have the boots.
I was actually
Fabulous.
trying to go to Oktoberfest,
Yeah?
which is actually in September. But yeah, I was
That doesn't seem right.
in Munich. I was trying to go in Munich, and the trip kind of fell through thanks COVID. But yeah, it was a good story, right? Oh, my turn.
Yeah.
So
I think it was as genuine of a Kolsch, true to the Kolsch flavor, I guess, that you're going to get. And I really appreciated the beer. I'm going to go 8-1.
Nice.
Really, like, most people try to overdo it, I think. And it's simple, and it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's refreshing, it's smooth, it's fresh. It fit.
So one thing I'm a little confused about is the hops. Very good with their German. Like, they're not German, are they? A German style beer, but they're mostly lagers, right? They're like the lager.
That's German, yeah.
So are Kolsch's more German or are lagers more German?
It's very German.
Because every time I think German, I think lager.
German.
But why is Kolsch like? What's the difference? You guys know?
That would be a great question for a brewmaster.
The ingredients, yeah. It's the base. It's the foundation of it.
It's the ingredients, and according to Google, it's the fermenting process as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Alright.
that's probably true then, if Google actually said
Google
that.
knows what it's talking about half the time.
Warm fermented with top fermenting yeast, then conditioned at cold temperatures, kind of like a lager.
Oh, at cold temperatures, Kolsch.
Very, very similar. Very similar to a lager. I would just say more flavor.
Originated in Cologne, Germany.
Cologne. I've been there.
Yeah.
It's cold
Yeah.
Cologne.
Cologne
Kolsch.
is home to the largest cathedral
Starting
in
to put
all of
everything
Europe.
together.
You
Okay.
are really putting it together well.
All right, Michael, what was your grade off of memory?
I was going to go with an 8.2.
Nice.
It's
Wow,
not my
eights.
it's not my normal
Crazy
go-to
eights.
beer, but that was a good Kolsch beer. So
All right, let's get into the peanut butter one. Did we
Ooh.
already explain what it was?
definitely did.
Perfect. So
It
just
is-
rewind it.
It is
If
dark.
you need a reminder of what this beer is. John, you can go first.
Ooh, I haven't even tried it yet, so y'all go first.
Ryan, you can go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. This is incredible.
It's good beer, isn't it?
This is a really, really good beer. And the different flavors, like, I feel like I can taste every flavor that they have in this beer. And I'm not like, I actually do like porters. I like porters more than stouts in general. But the flavor that they get out of this, does it overpower the porter flavor to it? Maybe. I don't know. I think it just helps it. It's like just part of the ride.
Yeah.
I think it's blended and balanced really, really well, but the flavor is still incredible. So
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of this. I'm gonna go
Very easy to drink.
8.6.
Wow. Now they have another version of this. I wouldn't say strictly of this, but they have a coffee porter. That is pretty darn good.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Mike, off your memory, what grade would you give this?
I'm definitely going 8.8 on that.
It's a good score.
Quick comment from the listeners out there. Jarrett Fenema,
Oh, boy.
very good friend of the show. Happiest beer on earth is definitely a Kolsch-style beer, y'all.
Oh, look
Y'all.
at that. So, Jarrett, you guys
Jarrett.
know Jarrett from
Yeah.
friend of the show.
Is he German?
He's got his own podcast, Happiest Podcast on Earth. It's a Disney podcast, if you like that type of thing. They
he's
just came out with
Australian.
their own beer with a brewer in Florida.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and it's the happiest beer on earth.
Yeah,
It
we're gonna
must be a Kolsch.
And
we're
I
gonna
think-
give it a grade,
I
even though
think
it's not
we are
Michigan
going
based.
to we're going to do that if he can get us some. So
Yeah, he should cold ship us some.
yeah, well I think his mom is going to bring some back for us.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we'll drink that as soon as we get our hands on it. Cool label too.
Yeah,
he sent
really
the
cool.
label of it. I think they did a really good job.
I'm
so.
excited to drink it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Especially after this Kolsch. I like Kolsch's now.
There you go. You never
I
knew.
didn't even know. I had no clue.
Oh,
All
you
right.
know what would go great with that Kolsch? Just a meat platter with some cheese on there and some
That sounds awesome.
All right.
Some
I will
Wiener
bring the
Schnitzel,
Kolsch
but
next
everything
time.
sounds
Next time I
good.
bring a Kolsch,
sausages.
next time we're going to do a Kolsch, I'll make sure that I let you
Some
know so you
horseradish,
can bring a
mustard.
charcuterie board for us. To eat during the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, I'll do that. Yeah,
Yeah? All right, sounds
I
good.
probably won't. But
I'm going to give my grade, John, unless you want to give yours.
Go ahead, Sam.
All right. I'm going to give mine an 8.4. I think the flavors were really good. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
You guys already hit it.
Straightforward.
No,
like
I think it was well done. I really do. Very balanced. I think Ryan worded it correctly by saying he could taste all the different flavors. None of them were overpowering. Like a lot of the peanut butter stout or porters and stuff, peanut butter beers in general, they go overboard with the peanut butter flavor, I feel like. You can still taste the caramel and stuff, which is important to me.
See, and I think that's a high grade for you because you don't typically like these beers a whole lot, do you?
Not a whole lot, no. I'm very traditional with like the IPAs and the dark beers are always kind of low to start, but I really like the flavor of this one. John.
Also, I'm super hesitant drinking darker beers too. It's just a thing. I don't know. I think they're at a time they can get too filling, but I could drink this beer at 9 o'clock in the morning on a non-work day while eating a couple donuts from a local bakery, maybe Sandy's.
No, beer doesn't discriminate about what day it is, so it can be a work day.
Yeah, it could be like maybe even a peanut butter chip chocolate-covered glazed donut would go very well with something like that.
Wow.
Man,
you could pour this in your coffee mug and nobody would know the difference.
Nobody would know.
Very specific.
You can't see light through it. I tried holding it up to the light. There's no tint through the beer. It's amazing.
Maybe that's why you're hesitant at drinking it because you can't see what's in there.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Confirmed. I can't even see the light through that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Crazy.
Oh man, I'm up there too. 8.5. I mean, it's a peanut butter beer, and I'm a huge peanut butter guy. So this is going back to my childhood.
Righty-o.
Yes.
I think John loved this beer a lot today. He gave it an 8.8 and an 8.5.
I think I'm gonna.
We all loved it. We were all in the 8s.
I might even drive to Heartland. You guys can all just ride with. And we'll see who drives back.
We'll do a podcast?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do a podcast over there.
I might even drive to the podcast.
Yeah, load everything up in the Cadillac, see how fast we can go.
Yeah, baby.
Very, very good. Well, no picks today because we still got a game going on. We obviously know who's going to win, Stafford.
I think this game's over.
We're going to do our picks off air, and we will share our results with you guys next week when we record. But that was episode 140. That's all we got, right? Am I missing something?
I thought we were doing the Detroit Tigers preview.
Yeah.
Tigers. Thank you guys for recording. Thank you all for listening live. Thank you for listening after the fact. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.